To our top story that is defining the news agenda, former Finance Minister P. Chidambaram spent his first night in Tihar Jail. This is after a Delhi court ordered him to be sent to a 14-day judicial custody in the INX media corruption case on Thursday. After being brought to Tihar Jail on Thursday evening, the former Finance Minister was taken for a mandatory medical checkup. After this, he was lodged in one of the cells in jail number 7. The court had directed Chidambaram to be kept in separate cell as he was protecting under Z security. The cell also comprises of a cot, a bathroom with Western-style facilities, securities and medication. Chidambaram was given special instructions to stay inside his cell from 9 p.m. last night to 6 a.m. this morning. After this, Chidambaram was allowed to step out of his cell to have his breakfast. Sources informed India Today that the former finance minister will be treated like a normal prisoner in jail. He will also have to eat modest meals served in jail comprising dal roti in plastic utensils. And we exclusively spoke to Chidambaram's counsel, Abhishek Manu Singhvi, who is now claiming political vendetta. He's also gone on to say this is a bid to target the opposition leaders. Hear into what Abhishek Manu Singhvi had to say.
Mr. Singhvi, as somebody who's representing Mr. P. Chidambaram, what is going to be his next legal recourse? Are you applying for bail?
Well, obviously, I'm not at liberty to share our legal recourse and strategies on candid camera. But let me start by saying, Preeti, that I think the whole equation has to be understood in a different light. Everybody around the globe is becoming judgmental and giving their own judgments, mini judgments. He's guilty, he's prima facie guilty, charges are serious, so much is done, this document, that account, that property. Please, by all means, convict him if he's guilty and send him to jail. He must go to jail if he's guilty after a trial. Please, by all means, acquit him and set him loose if he's not guilty. But the issue today is not that. The issue is only one, and please hear me carefully. I'm not talking of the past, for the future. Is a person in respect to whom the allegation is a transaction or transactions of 7-8, who is not a threat to society, who has deep roots, who is not accused of a terrorism or a murder offense, who will not flee, who will not abscond, who will cooperate, about whom all the documents have been frozen, their government files, 11 years old, about whom all government official statements have been recorded. On what imminence, urgency do you justify the need to arrest and keep him behind bars? That's the real question. Yes, we can lose some, we can win some. Question is, answer that question. Now that question today can be answered only by a bail application, which you can rest assured will be moved. I'm not at liberty to disclose when, how, where. It will be moved shortly, and that is the right procedure once you're in judicial custody.
Would you reckon, Mr. Singhvi, that this is a huge setback? Let's just look at those visuals there of Mr. P. Chidambaram, the finance minister being taken. There is a sense of humiliation that is also attached with these visuals, sir.
Look, Preeti, I would be far less than candid if I did not say two things. One, that when a person approaches the Supreme Court, he expects to win. And having lost the Supreme Court, yes, you use the word setback is not wrong. Similarly, our own argument was that it is a humiliation. It is intended to be humiliating. It is done for humiliation. Please tell me, madam, in case a 11-year-old offense, last 3 to 4 years you are investigating, sometimes ED calls you, sometimes CBI calls you, not a single charge sheet. Not a single charge sheet. Why? Because not filing a charge sheet enables you to keep the pot boiling.
All right, P. Chidambaram's son, Karti Chidambaram, is crying foul over the father's arrest and is equating ED with the notorious Gestapo or Hitler's Nazi police. The former finance minister's wife, Nalini, remained evasive after her husband was sent to judicial custody yesterday. Listen in.
Karti, you yourself have spent some days in Tihar Jail. Your father today taken to Tihar Jail also. Do you think, what is it? It's an exercise in humiliation, or is it just procedure being followed?
It's an exercise in humiliation for the voyeuristic pleasure of a few. And it's also the fallout of our judicial process. If somebody is taken into police custody, at the end of the police custody, when you apply for bail, you are sent to judicial custody in interim. And that's the way our law is. And even though I don't see any justification in it, but that's how the law flows in this country. And I've gone through this, as you yourself said, I've gone through this myself, so I know this process.
The ED has cited, Karti, in this issue. The ED has said that it was just they didn't have the time to file for remand. They will do so soon.
No, that's not the point, and everybody knows their tactics. And the ED claims lots of things. The ED is the Gestapo of this government, and the ED claims lots of things. If the ED has all this proof and all the things which they claim in media plants, they will actually quickly file a charge sheet. Why aren't they filing a charge sheet? These are events which apparently happened in 2007-8, for which an FIR was filed in 2017, and we are in 2019 third quarter, and you still you can't file a charge sheet. It's a non-case. What is the case all about? It's just nothing. It's just an exercise to silence critics of the government. That's all.
Madam, I am from India Today. Will you speak something on the court order, ma'am? Ma'am, if you're going to say something on court order, ma'am.
Aishwarya now joins us live for the very latest, coming in from the newsroom now. Aishwarya, where does this case stand now? The former finance minister is in Tihar Jail right now. While it is procedural and the law had to take its course, for 1 week at least it is established that he is going to be spending time in Tihar Jail. On the other side, you've got his wife who remains mum, his son who is comparing the ED to Nazis, Gestapo as well. Now, what next? What are the legal options in front of P. Chidambaram at this point of time?
Well, Chetty, you know, former finance minister and home minister has spent first night in jail and he will be there for the next 14 days. Now, we have seen how his lawyers have been putting forth one very crucial point. They have been saying that if the offence was committed almost 11, 12 years back, then why not a single charge sheet has been filed? Now, we what we are understanding at the moment is that this is what his lawyers will go ahead with. This is one point on which they will keep on pressing, and they will be asking the ED now that in case, if you think that you have such a strong point, why no charge sheet? This is how the battle will turn out in court, Chetty. But for now, the former finance minister and home minister will be in Tihar Jail for the next 14 days. We understand that he was allowed to take his sunglasses, he was allowed to take his glasses and his vitals at the moment, Chetty, what we understand are normal. So next 14 days, very crucial for former finance minister and home minister P. Chidambaram.
All right, leave it at that. Aishwarya bringing us all those details. She's going to be keeping her eyes closely on this particular story. Now, Congress leader P. Chidambaram was sent to 14-day judicial custody till 19 September by the Rouse Avenue Court yesterday. It was an unprecedented setback for the Congress veteran, who even offered to surrender to the Enforcement Directorate in an attempt to avoid going to jail. Here's a look at what transpired.
On Thursday afternoon, Chidambaram entered the CBI court at Rouse Avenue, sporting his signature smile, acknowledging reporters and his supporters in the crowded courtroom. But as the hearing gathered steam, frown lines began to appear on Chidambaram's face. Clearly, the proceedings were not going as per the plan of the former finance minister and his battery of lawyers. What changed was this. The Enforcement Directorate threw a googly by not pressing for custodial interrogation. The move by the ED left Chidambaram visibly perturbed. While his lawyer wife Nalini carried an aloof look on her face, son Karthi, a co-accused in INX media case, was fidgety, consulting Chidambaram's legal team every now and then. And then the verdict came. Chidambaram was headed to Tihar Jail. After 2 weeks in the CBI custody, Chidambaram would now be spending the next 14 days in the high-security Tihar Jail, along with 11,000 prisoners as an ordinary inmate. Before getting into a police van that would take him to Tihar, Chidambaram managed to get his smile back, even coming up with a sarcastic comment that the only thing worrying him at the moment was the economy. If his legal team fails to secure bail, the 73-year-old Congress veteran would be celebrating a solitary birthday on 16th September within the confines of India's largest prison. Bureau Report, India Today.
India's lunar mission Chandrayaan 2 is all set to create history and space history while at it with the lander Vikram on the moon's surface in the wee hours of 7 September. We're going to bring you all these details on India Today Live as they happen, so do tune in. The Vikram lander, which separated from the orbiter 2 days ago, has entered the final orbit and will be moving within this orbit until Thursday early morning, when the decision will be taken to go for final landing. When this happens, the engines of Vikram lander will be fired to slow its speed for the final soft landing. Once the final touchdown of Vikram lander takes place, the rover Chandrayaan will come down from the ramp, which will be lowered after 2 hours of landing. Prime Minister Modi will be at the Mission Operations Complex at ISRO in Bengaluru to witness live Chandrayaan 2's module Vikram landing on the lunar surface in the early hours of Saturday. 74 school children from across the country have been selected to watch the landing along with the Prime Minister.
Basically, the orbiter has remained in its own orbit as it is. Vikram lander was separated about 2 days ago, and that one has now entered into its almost final orbit, I would say, which is about 35 kilometers away from the moon, and it will keep on going in that particular orbit until the 6th night, 7th morning, when the decision will be taken to actually land. At that time, the Vikram lander, its journey towards the surface of the moon will start. Its engines will slow it down such that it will finally come and land on the surface of the moon. Once the Vikram lander actually lands there, at that particular time, after waiting for about 2 hours or so, they will release the ramp. The ramp will come out, and on that ramp, the rover will start its journey. Chandrayaan 1, one of the very special things that happened was, using our spectrometric type of cameras and instruments, we were able to actually prove that there is water on the moon.
India Today spoke to one of the students who will be watching the soft landing of Chandrayaan's 2 land on the lunar eclipse live with Prime Minister. Herein.
Wanted means I never expected I will get selected, because West Bengal is a huge state, and being one of them selected, selected from West Bengal, it's a matter of prestige for me. I really want to know, because recently Chandrayaan 1 found out water molecules on the moon. Now let's see what Chandrayaan 2 does. I want to see if life is possible outside Earth or not.
It was October 2008 when India first launched its first mission to the moon, which was Chandrayaan 1. The mission cost only 386 crore rupees. The historic mission put India into elite space nations of United States, Russia and China. Here's a look back at the journey of Chandrayaan 1 and what it has achieved thus far.
3, 2, 1. We have ignition.
ISRO's first moon mission, Chandrayaan 1, leaving behind a glorious legacy. India's maiden lunar mission, launched in October 2008, was a landmark in space exploration, placing India in the 4-member exclusive club of nations who have placed their flag in the lunar surface. On November 8, 2008, the space vehicle was inserted into lunar orbit. On 14th November, the Moon Impact Probe separated from the Chandrayaan orbiter and struck the South Pole. The Moon probe during landing ejecting subsurface soil, which it analyzed and found presence of lunar water ice. The discovery of water on Moon by Chandrayaan 1 was one of the biggest by any lunar mission. The mission also confirmed the presence of iron on lunar soil. The mission satellite meanwhile continued orbiting the moon, eventually making more than 3,400 trips around the moon at a height of 100 kilometers from the lunar surface. Chandrayaan 1 was concluded on August 29, 2009, when the communication with the spacecraft was lost. Built at a meager cost of 386 crore, Chandrayaan 1 operated for 312 days as opposed to the mission life of 2 years. But it achieved 95% of its planned objectives. Bureau Report, India Today.
The Enforcement Directorate has now issued a show-cause notice to human rights watchdog Amnesty India for alleged foreign exchange violations to the tune of over 51 crore rupees. Amnesty India allegedly received over 51 crore rupees for rendering civil society activities in India by getting remittances from parent body Amnesty International in UK in the garb of export of services. The notice was issued after the completion of the probe under the FEMA. The ED had earlier registered a case in 2018 based on action taken by Ministry of Home Affairs against Amnesty. It had even conducted searches at various premises connected to organizations in Bengaluru and other places. The NGO has now been issued the show cause notice. Now, remember this is happening a day after it launched the Let Kashmir Speak campaign, calling for a lifting of a lockdown in the Kashmir Valley on Wednesday. Manish is now joining us live for the latest on this. Manish, you know, this is very interesting. While there must be an alleged violation under FEMA being committed by the Amnesty India, that's fine, that is one. But why is the Enforcement Directorate going after Amnesty India at this point of time, only after that Let Kashmir Speak mission was launched by Amnesty India? I mean, they could have done this any time. Doesn't take away from the alleged crime. But the fact of the matter is the timing of this is absolutely questionable, Manish.
Yeah, well, Chaiti, one can question the timing of the action which is being taken by the Enforcement Directorate. But what ED maintains that last year, after conducting the search, they're keeping close surveillance on the entire operation of this organization. And now what ED maintains that from UK, they were getting funds. The Amnesty International and Amnesty India was getting funds from the United Kingdom, and it was being used for anti-India activities, and that is why this FEMA notice has been issued. Of course, you rightly pointed out that one can question the timing of this, but ED maintains that they are conducting their inquiries into it, and soon they will be summoning people associated with this entire organization. Back to you.
Manish, thanks much for bringing us those details right there. Moving on now to the other big story that we're tracking here on India Today. Violent protests continue over the arrest of Congress troubleshooter D.K. Shivakumar in his Kanakapura Assembly constituency. The protests, which broke out after Shivakumar's arrest on Tuesday, turned violent on Thursday. Congress workers took out massive torch rallies against the centre. Apart from torch bearing, protesters also resorted to stone pelting at state vehicles, tyre burning and sloganeering against Prime Minister Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah. The party supporters also allegedly shut down the Bengaluru-Mysuru highway, hampering traffic. Congress troubleshooter D.K. Shivakumar was sent to ED custody till 13 September by a Delhi court on Wednesday. Congress has now cried political vendetta and claimed that their leader has been targeted. The JDS has also come out in support of the Congress, echoing the party's claim that this was a witch hunt against D.K. Shivakumar.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you would love to.